So let me just first start off by saying I came to how we connected. So in my life, I had experienced a traumatic event, and I just knew that I needed something more than one-on-one counseling. It just wasn't working for me, having been a counselor myself. I just felt like nobody could understand. I had been to 3 different counselors, psychologists, and what have you, very renowned personnel. It just wasn't working for me. So I just prayed, and just like you, it was funny listening to what you were saying. I went to the internet, and I just said, Lord, I need somebody who can work with me on those things that I cannot see, hear, feel, or touch that are having a major impact on how I am feeling, and to get me back in balance and in alignment. So I think that was the biggest thing. I felt unbalanced. I felt like I was not in alignment with the universe in terms of my calling, and it was all really centered around the traumatic event that had taken place in my life at that time. So I went to the internet. I forgot what I searched, Googled, but this whole list came up. And I closed my eyes literally and put my finger on Rorree's name. And I said, oh, well, Lord, you're real funny because that's right up the street. So let me call. And I called Rorree. I told her what I was experiencing and what had taken place, and we set the appointment for the very next day. Because I didn't know how I was going to make it through the next 24 hours. So she called me right on in. I signed up. And I felt when I got there, it was easy to talk to Rorree. It was easy to express what I could not express to the counselors that I had been seeing. I felt it was something that was happening as we were having discussions. So I began to open up even more. I'm really leery sometimes of people, touching or doing energy work on me, but I felt very comfortable when Rorree asked, can I do some work on you? So I said, sure. And let me tell you, 24 hours later, I think I had laughed for the first time in months after leaving her.
Wow.
So I had to really think about what happened, but I knew something had shifted. Still experiencing the trauma that had happened, I began to kind of come around to begin to accept and understand. And so with that, I'm doing a lot more laughing today. But that's not it. When you asked me to do the call, I said, I don't know where I'm going to start because there were so many things that had affected my ability to maneuver through my day-to-day, even in my own house. And I said, Rorree, I've been in this house for 12 years. I've always felt comfortable in my home. I'm scared to be there. I can no longer hold my mother, my nieces, my little cousins hostage to stay with me and spend the night in my home. I got to let them, they have their lives too. I even had this real funny story. I even called my 88-year-old grandmother and said, can you come over here and watch your granddaughter? Because my mother had something to do that day. And it was at that moment I looked at my grandmother across the couch. She still drives. And I said, something's got to give. I can't have my 88-year-old grandmother babysitting her granddaughter. Right? Which is me. She's babysitting me. So we sitting there laughing. And so I told Rorree about it. And she said, well, let me do some work. And she did some work. And she gave me very specific instructions on what to do next. I did those things, ran up to the store, got what she told me to get, did the work. And let me tell you, ever since that next day that I did the work, I've been able to be in the house by myself. I'm in the house by myself now. So,
wow.
And it's been some months. It's been months. So just in the realm of being able to matriculate through my 24 hours that God gives me each and every cycle, working with Rorree She's really unloosed some chains that have been holding me back based on my experience. Right. So I'm knowledgeable about meditating and energy work and things. I've always been intrigued, but my mother has always been a girl, what you doing in there type person. And so I told my mother, what you doing in there, girl? You better stop that. So I said, Mom, her knees were bothering her, and she's walking one foot meets the other, one foot meets the other down the steps. And I'm saying, oh, no, we've got to get this straight. What's going on? Because she's an avid swimmer. She's very active, not overweight. And so I said, well, Mom, you need to come with me to meet Rorree. And she's like, I don't know. At this point, Wanda, I'll try anything because her knees were really bothering her. And I tell you, this is the truth. We walked down the steps to Rorree's establishment. One foot meets the other. One foot meets the other. And when we left, I left my mother there, came back in an hour to get her. She literally walked up those steps just normal. And when she got to the top of the steps, she said, wait a minute. Let me see if I can walk down these steps. And she walked down the steps normal and walked back up the steps, at a normal pace. She did not have to walk one foot.
Wow.
And so for her, it was amazing. Like, it amazed me that, in terms of that type of healing. I know healing takes place in different realms, but for her knees to have been bothering her all these years and to work with Rorree for an hour and to have a sense of relief, even walking up and down the steps, was truly amazing.
Well, the one that I think speaks to the power of your abilities the most easily is the issue of a knee issue with me. Some years ago, my two daughters had gotten a little Bashan freeze that, for the love of God, I could not housebreak. And for an extended period of time, they went to go visit their dad for a few weeks. And I'm here to take care of this dog. And so I went to go take him outside to try to get him to go to the bathroom. And he goes running out the door. Well, I've got these loose sandals on, and I go to try and chase him and trip and fall down my brick stairs in my front, out in front of my house. And I sprained both knees and my left ankle. I literally could not put any weight on it. Fortunately, I had my cell phone on me. Actually, no, I didn't. I had to physically, drag my body up the stairs, up the walkway, up the stairs, back into the house, down the stairs to get to my cell phone and call my kid's dad and said, "Oh, my God, I fell. I've fallen and I can't get up." And, I'm laying there in the bed. I'm wretched in pain. He comes over, and he's like, "Did you go to the hospital?" And I was like, "I didn't even think of that." And he's like, "You need to go to the hospital." So, of course, they get me to the hospital. And sure enough, I'm in an immobilizer and on both knees, a brace on the left knee, and crutches. And so this was my new accessory outfit for the next 3 weeks. Now, at the time, you weren't living back in Maryland. I think you were still in Texas. And it just so happened that you were visiting your mom's house in about 3 weeks. And I had, been going around with the crutches, and it's things didn't just seem like they were getting any better. And it was so bad that I had gone back to the emergency room about 2 or 3 days before you came to visit to have them check it, because I was like, it's still so sore. I can't put any weight hardly on, my knees, my ankle, especially the left one. Did it break? Because, it just seemed to me like after 3 weeks, I should have been able to put more weight on it after that. And they were like, "No, you just really messed up your ankle. You should just let the dog go. You didn't really like him anyway." So, so you came by to visit your mom, and I was like, "Okay, well, let me hobble on over to see how you're doing and everything." And while I'm over there, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is not cute. What happened?" And I tell you my story. I think you laughed then too, but that's okay. It's a funny story. But I'm sitting at your kitchen table, and you said, "Well, would you like me to work on your knee?" And, I'm kind of like, "Sure, well, whatever that means, go do your thing." And so I put my left knee up, my right knee up, leg up, and you did your work there. And then I put my left leg up, which is the one with the bad ankle and the knee. And I remember you're doing it, and you're like, "Wow, can you feel that? It feels like a construction zone." And I'm like, "I feel nothing. I'm running my mouth to your mom, but, you keep doing it. It's all good." So I'm enjoying the conversation and everything. And we, communicate, have fun, reconnect and everything. And then I get back on my pair of crutches, and I hobble home. Well, the next day, I was able to stand up on my right leg without any pain whatsoever. And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. 2 or 3 days ago, I was literally just back at the emergency room because I was struggling putting weight really on either leg. But, I could only put a little bit of weight on the right leg, no weight at all on the left leg. And it was after 3 weeks. My underarms were getting pained. I actually wanted to do some mini work there. Because, with crutches, you bearing on that weight underneath your arm, it hurts. But I was surprised. I'm like, wait a minute, the next day, I can actually put weight on my right leg. Hold up now. And sure enough, by the end of that day, I was able to let go of using the cane on the right-hand side and just kind of hobble around a bit with the left one, because it was starting to get a little bit better with the left leg too. By the day after that, I still had both canes that day, but the day after that, I was able to let go of the cane on the right hand and just kind of walk limping on my left leg. And then by the third day, I didn't need the cane at all. And by the fourth day, the immobilizers and the braces that I had on the left leg were gone. And I was like, now this is a trip. For 3 weeks, I've been in pain and can't move and, pain in my legs and pain in my underarms with the crutches and so forth. So much so that I go back to the doctors because I'm thinking my legs are actually broken, or I got a fracture, what is it? One of those minute fractures or something in my ankle. It has to be because it was so painful, and it's just, they're giving me, I don't know, whatever those ridiculous pain medicines that they give. I think Vicodin or something like that. I mean, nothing was working. And I was like, here Rorree comes, and she does. I lovingly call it her magic mojo. I was like, here she does her magic mojo on my leg, and within a few days, not only is it to the point where I can bear weight on it, so it feels like it's getting better, I'm actually able to let go of the crutches and walk with no problem. So, after that, it was kind of unfortunate for Rorree because I was like, Rorree, I got a pain. I need some magic mojo. Help me, please. But no, it's been a tremendous. And I tell people that story, and I was like, look, I can't tell you what she does. All I know is that whatever is working with her, she's really the only person I have experienced that whatever it is she's doing, it works. And and I am into metaphysics. I've actually gotten into it through you and learned more about it, and it really is, the energy healing and so forth has really opened me up, and I've become more sensitive and aware to it. But even as I've gone to different people for healing and understanding and things of that nature, you really are the only person where I get these really intense, really deep, and almost immediate results with. With other folks, I might get something, but it may take a minute, or I kind of have to look for the healing. With you, it's always so immediate, and it never gets old. I'm never stopping. I never get unamazed by, wow, what did she do? It's just incredible. I couldn't bend it, and it had been about 2 months. It was my ring finger. That one needs to be straightened so I can get a ring on it. But I couldn't bend it at all, so it was just kind of lingering around. And I remember we were sitting on your couch, and you were telling me about how you were starting to get into this, and I was like, oh yeah, really? Well, here, go heal my finger. And the look of panic on your face was great because you were like, what? No, I'm not ready for this. I'm like, it's just me. Go ahead, see what you do. Whatever happens, happens. And sure enough, I think that's when I coined the phrase "your magic mojo." You did, your energy work on it, and within a few minutes, I was able to bend and get full function of my ring finger back, which is great because at some point I do want to get married. But I could move it around, and it was incredible because, like I said, it was almost like 2 months, 7 or 8 weeks that it was in this kind of locked L position that it just wouldn't do anything. And I should have gone to a doctor. I think I just jammed it, but because I was like, if I jammed it, I'm not going to a doctor and paying for that because I hate going to doctors. But I just dealt with it for 2 months, and then one visit with you and it wasn't. I think it wasn't even 5 minutes worth of work. We were sitting there, I think, watching Charmed while you were. I'm always doing this where I'm like doing something else while you're doing your work. Seems like it'd be a repetitive habit, but no, but it wasn't. It was only like a few minutes, and then within a few minutes, I was good as gold. Well, like you said, I've known you for a very long time, and one of the things that I have always said, even though you have done some healing work on me, the most profound thing that I have found in my experience with you is your gift to just heal the overall being, not just my physical ailments like my stomach, because I have issues with my gastrointestinal tract, but the mind, my spirit. I know that there are a lot of times that I'm feeling weepy or crying or just not right, not balanced. It's not necessarily that I need some Prozac or some medicine, just maybe a drink. But I find that, sometimes when you share with your girlfriends, you feel cathartic. This is beyond that. This is beyond a catharticism. This is more of a spiritual enlightenment, a spiritual lift. I know, in particular, last week I was having some doubt about things going on in my life, and I sat down. We just had a very easy conversation. I know that the healing clinic won't be a lot of dialogue, but this in itself is healing for me, because just having the light dialogue with you, the exchange, and having you to do your healing work without even telling me that you were doing the healing work, to just hear where my fears were and my thoughts, and to kind of it's almost like if you can envision having somebody inside your head holding your hand, like you're in a dream and you're just talking with a really good friend, and maybe you're walking holding her hand, or she's holding your hand, and just easy breezy feeling like I can do this. That healing in my mind is very, very powerful. I would say that it has opened me up and allowed me to be receptive to physical healing, because if you are not open to receiving something, then it is difficult for that person, whether they have gifts or not, to convey their gifts to you. I will say physically, the physical thing that's profound for me is, again, my stomach. I've always had problems with my weight in my stomach, and mine is more, a lot of people have problems with when they get nervous or depressed, they overeat. Well, there are some of us that are extremely thin, and when we get depressed or worried or stressed, we can't eat. Our appetites are suspended. And you put me on your little table, and I don't know what you did, because usually when I'm with you, I feel very relaxed and very calm. And so I was very relaxed and very calm, and you did some. And I've had an appetite. I've had some stressful days, but I haven't felt like I couldn't eat. There were times prior to you doing your healing work where if I got stressed out, I could try to eat, but I would want to vomit or go to the bathroom. Not as in bulimic, but just literally can't get it in. Since you doing your work, I haven't really had that problem. My stomach has been antsy from time to time, but when it gets antsy, I usually call you and say help. And even if it's just a light work on you doing some candle work or some prayer work, it has definitely helped. I have not had those problems, and I felt very relieved. So I encourage anybody and everybody to, give it a try. I think it is healthy. It's far better, in my opinion, than a medical practice, and I think that because medicine is a practice, and anybody's practicing, they obviously don't know what they're doing. And this is more spirit and God-led, and for me, that's better. I don't have to take medicines, and my body doesn't have to be dependent on it. I know after you did your first session on me, you said, you're probably going to have to go to the bathroom. And I talked to you later that evening. You said, you go to the bathroom? I ain't go yet, girl. The next morning,
Somebody would have thought I had a baby. So it all moved and everything, whatever that was, that blockage or excess of junk, moved out, and it has been good. Hopefully, it will continue to be that way. But I encourage, as I said, everybody to try it. And I think each person, from what I have listened to, has a different experience. But the end result has always been positive, from what I can gather.